Hey YouTube, coming at you with my last video because we have league turnover tomorrow, and this I called my $1.6 million mistake. Uh, I have Shadow Politoed, Shadow Nidoqueen, and Licky Licky, and what this team cost me 1.6 million dust to build altogether. But I did not build it this season. I built it over the seasons, over the last like 15 seasons, or I guess whenever XLs came into play here, not 15 seasons. But I built up Politoed the season before Weather Ball got nerfed, and then I built up Nidoqueen before Poison Fang got nerfed, and Licky Licky I built up because I it's it's kind of like this. I had the same thought process of it's just going to be Lickitung, but in the Great League, in the Ultra League, because you have Lick, you have Body Slam, and you have even better coverage with Shadow Ball because Shadow Ball you have Giratinas and Cresselias everywhere, so this can be way better. And the problem is you have the bulk of Lickitung, but you also don't get Lickitung still hits like decently hard in the Great League because everything's glassier, right? But in this league, everything's super tanky. So your non-attack heavy moves are not doing as much as the non-attack heavy moves that Lickitung does in the Great League. So that being said, I actually did well with this team, but I think it's because I was down in like the 2400s. I'm not anymore. I'm moving my way back up because I did actually 5-0 with this team. So in terms of team, it's actually like not bad, right? Politoed weak to grass. Nidoqueen should deal with most grass. Licky deals with like Giratinas and stuff and Cresselias. Um, like it's okay. It's not amazing, but you're gonna see them in action. So this one, I mean, Earthquake also got nerfed, right? So it's kind of a double whammy here with Politoed. Um, this is not bad. So problem with Politoed is like I'm gonna have to take some Night Slashes, and it's not terrible, and it's terrible if you get an attack boost though. As I say, you could take 3 Night Slashes. You can still take 2 plus moves. Looks like they're gonna have to run anyways. Just go straight for the Earthquake. Some Politoads run Blizzard, so it's not like this could surprise. Get to the Weather Ball, decide to accidentally over click, which is actually okay because I can get like a little bit of farm with the either or, although switch probably would have been better. But I get 2 poison jabs through there, so we'll see what they have. And Charizard, and this is where, yes, Poison Fang is nerfed, and so it's much worse that it takes longer to get to the Poison Fangs, but it's still a Nidoqueen able to do heavy damage with the Poison Jabs once you get that Poison Fang off, right? The problem was that Poison Fang, it now takes longer to get to than before. So before you were able to throw much faster, you're able to just like Poison Jab quicker down. Now it takes a little longer, but once you get that off, you're still doing really good Poison Jab damage. So Nidoqueen, although nerfed, still has some potential play. And there is your third, and it is a grass. So this will be a good chip. I'm going to force them to throw, right? I'm just going to Poison Jab as much as I can, knowing that of the weakness that Lick Licky has. Just not Lick Licky. I call it Lick Licky, and someone's like, it's Licky Licky. I'm like, okay, Licky Licky. Because I Poison Jabbed, Poison Fanged, their defense is lower. So I can just lick and probably body slam, but as you're going to see, so I can survive a frenzy. I can survive 2 frenzies, right? You have the bulk. But as you're going to see here, with the stab body slam on what is a glacier Venusaur that has already lowered defense, it still does not do much. And that's kind of like, you'll see a lot of that. So good lead here. They get into Swampert. And I'm like, okay, even though I have such an amazing matchup with Politoed on Charizard, this is still a pretty good matchup here as long as they shield up the Earthquake properly. So do end up shielding up the Earthquake properly. Going to get another Weather Ball off. I'll probably get a third off before they get to an Earthquake. Question is, I was about to say, I could have stayed in. I'm actually surprised I did not stay in. That's kind of a weird play. I probably should have stayed in and got one more Weather Ball off, but I think I wanted to align the Politoed back on the Charizard, so that's probably why I saved it. But I just see here, like, had to take 2 moves because I could not lick down. Body Slam going to come through. Is it a Shadow Charizard or non-Shadow? It's a non-Shadow, so it does even less than before. I assume they're not going to shield anything, so I'm only going to get to 1 more move. Let's just go for the heavier hitting Shadow Ball. So good chip there. They will farm me down. That's okay. I'll come in, absorb it with Politoed. I can obviously live a Blast Burn. And I'll just probably let this go. But it still does 50%, right? Shadow Charizard hits pretty hard on everything. Get the Weather Ball off. They let it go. What is in the back? Clefable. So very, very lucky here. I will take this just because I had alignment in the back end here. This matchup again. Hopefully, one, they don't boost this time. And two, hopefully if I get to the Weather Ball, I actually throw it this time. I remember baiting in one of these. Maybe I bait in this one. But we still get the freaking attack boost. I think I bait because... Yeah, I remember baiting this one because they're already boosted and I haven't thrown yet. And my assumption was if they think I have an Earthquake, they're likely to shield because they're boosted and they think they can farm down. So I bait and then I get to the Earthquake here. I think they'll let it go. It won't take out, but it'll like put it in the deep red. So deep red... who am I going to eat this on? Nidoqueen. Oh, and they go for one more. Yeah, I remember this. I was like, what are you doing? So they go for one more move, and obviously it does not land because it's a 3-turn fast move, and my 4-turn registers before their 3 ends because it doesn't actually register. Like the 4-turn fast move does not register on the 4th, like turn-wise. It registers before the 4th, so that's why they go down. They give up switch into Trevenant. This is fine. I shield up the Seed Bomb, knowing that I'm going to get a Shadow Ball off here to take this out. So again, there's a lot of things weak to Shadow Ball and Lick in this meta. There's a lot of Ghost, Jellicent, Giratina. You don't see Trevenant as much anymore, but Trevenant, Cresselia, right? So there's a lot that is weak to Ghost. My attack falls here. Just going straight Shadow Ball, but I think at this point, once I chip, my win condition is just getting an Earth Power off on Nidoqueen to take this out. So I'm basically going to force them to throw here before I get out and get into Nidoqueen and just Earth Power for the win. And as you can see with the bulk, like just taking a lot of damage and it's still at like just under 50% health, right? So it is tanky. Earth Power for the win. Okay, terrible lead. Again, I'm gonna use this as a safe swap like you would Lickitung. Still get the Lick and Body Slam combo, which is very strong. But as you can see, like brutal. Brutal. Venusaur is not exactly a defense heavy Pokemon, and Licks and Body Slams would not have taken that out. So we are very far behind. I used a shield already. They use a shield back, which is good. I'm just going to try and chip as much as I can. Kind of in a rough situation here because Oh, I'm burning the switch clock and I'm going to get to Nidoqueen. I would not be... maybe I'll take one move. I'm surprised I'm not going into Nidoqueen because it resists the electric. I get Focus Blast, so I'm going into Nidoqueen now. At best, they're going to have Brutal Swing. Electric is resisted, so I can get very, very far ahead on energy here. Can I farm down before they get to another Brutal Swing? The answer is no. So they will chip me low. I kind of have to save the shield though, so I just got to let this go. But I got a lot of energy, so let's see what they come in with. And this game's over. And this game's over because now they have Venusaur on my Politoed and a Blastoise on my Nidoqueen. So there's not really much I can do there. Lost the lead, could not even come close to flipping switch on the mid game there because they frenzied me and then they focus blast me and just I was down to shield already. So kind of a tough alignment there. Not much I can really do, but the team did not help out its case. Do get an Earth Power off, but this was more just like, I wonder how much it does. Blastoise is kind of tanky, and yeah, takes it with ease. Okay, Politoed, Darmanitan, so grid lead here. They get into Walrein. So this is still a really good matchup for me because I have Mudshots, which are at least doing neutral and getting to this Earthquake, while their Powder Snows are doing resisted. Uh, just taking that damage. I'm saving the Politoed for the Darmanitan, so that's why I just, once they let their first Earthquake go, I just kind of got out. They use a shield there, which is an interesting shield because, as you saw, Earthquake didn't do much. These Icicle Spears aren't going to do too much. I'm going to be very comfortable in keeping Switch if I want to. So they're down a shield and I keep Switch, which is nice. This comes in, it's going to get a ton of energy. Now the only question is, yeah, that's a full thing going through. I don't know if it was my mistake or the game's lagging there. I think it's the spinning ball there that cost me. Man, that thing is glassy. There's no way that a body slam should do that much to this Pokemon. Is this Pokemon that bad? Get hit with the rock slide. And now 2v1 shield in the back here is sufficient. Just double shield this. Get the double poison fangs off and then just poison jab power down here. So if you're going to build up any of these Pokemon, really there's only one you need to potentially build, and that is Nidoqueen. I don't even care what the rank. It's funny because Politoed, I know Politoed is actually somewhat high on the rankings. And I don't know why, having used it multiple times now, with a nerfed... Yeah, Politoed without Excel, first of all, it's got Blizzard, that's why. So without Excel, without Shadow. Shadow's ranked 48, and regular is ranked 33 on PvPoke in the Great League. Running Mudshot, Weather Ball, and Blizzard. To the tune of 22 and 27 record. And it's interesting because it says you get killed by grass, obviously. You're going to lose if you're going to run the Weather Ball Blizzard combo. You're going to get killed by stuff that you can now not throw anything at. So waters, Poliwrath, Jellicent, Gyarados, Walrein, all these things, Glycopod. You don't have anything to throw at those. And then Registeel, you can only throw a water gun, right? So there's a lot of losses here. You lose to Shadow Swampert. I guess if they land an Earthquake, yeah, you would lose there. Where are your wins? Because, okay, Charizard's everywhere, yes. But a lot of this other stuff is not really high. All of this, I'm really surprised it's ranked that high. Because all the main meta that you're losing, you lose to. You lose to Steelix, Cobalion, Swampert, Giratina Altered, Scrafty, Double, Obstagoon, Mandibuzz, Pidgeot, Escav, Cresselia, Registeel, Glycopod, Walrein, Gyarados, Jellicent, Defenseoxys, Poliwrath, and Venusaur and Virizion. In what world is this Pokemon ranked 33 when you lose to 90% of the main meta? So that is why I would say do not build this Pokemon. No way is it worth it. Shadow Nidoqueen's ranked 73. I think it probably plays a bit better than 73 in my opinion. I think, let me just look at the matchups here. So it has a 23 and 24 record, but it's very, very wide distribution. So you're going to get killed by a lot of things. Your obvious ones. Stunfisk, Swampert, Sandslash, Jellicent, right? Greninja. Those are not surprising. You do get some. I mean, I'm going to ignore the obvious like fairy ones, but like Virizions everywhere, and you do that, and then a lot of counter users, right? Obstagoon, Cobalion, even Tapu Fini, even though because it's water, it's also fairy, so you're just going to outpace there. The Darks, it says you beat Umbreon and Scrafty and Mandibuzz. So that's why it seems to have a lot of decent wins. Regular Charizard you beat. Glycopod is even, right? So there's some good wins here. Obviously, Giratina Altered is tough because Ghost resists poison. Anything that's ice or water is going to just beat you before you can really ramp up on that Poison Jab, Poison Fang. But overall, I think it's a decent Pokemon. I don't think it's a must invest, especially especially 2 weeks left in the season, you always just, if there's 2 weeks left, just wait for move update. I am fine building up Pokemon at the beginning of the season or even halfway through the season. But if there's 2 weeks left in the season, do not waste it. Like, just save it for the end of the season to see what the moveset updates are. And then Licky Licky is ranked 92. And I think the main problem with this Pokemon, so yeah, it does get up to level 48.5. And this is why this cost me so much, because I have 40 half Licky Licky, and these Politoed and Nidoqueens are also like high 40s, all shadow. 21 and 28 record. Obviously, with the normal typing and ghost fast move, darks, fighters are all the issue, and there's a lot of fighters in the Great League. So if we just ignore all the dark and fighters, which is a lot of them, obviously you're just going to destroy Ghost, Trevenant, Cofagrigus, Jellicent, Giratina, Golisopod because you resist the Shadow Claw. Tapu Fini, it looks like you beat too. So there's some, you win Crest, you win Charizard Shadow. So it looks like there's some good wins. But all the ones I said, just let's ignore those. It's tough to ignore, starting with Registeel, Walrein, Greninja, Swampert, Nidoqueen, Umbreon, Mandibuzz, Drapion, Steelix, Venusaur, Pidgeot, Double, Poliwrath, Escav, Virizion, Toxicroak, Cobalion, Scrafty, Machamp, Obstagoon. It's tough to ignore. It's tough to exactly ignore those Pokemon. So it's okay. Honestly, if I'm using a normal typing as a safe swap, you're going to see it at the end of the season. So I've got a bunch of Ultra League teams. I got like 3 or 4 Ultra League teams that I've done over this past week that I just won't get to. I've used Double. I don't know how you pronounce it. I use that and if you're going to use a normal typing safe swap in this meta, I think you're using that over Licky Licky, quite honestly. And I think there's other safe swaps that you'd probably want to use here. But it's not terrible. It's not the worst, but it's not anything that you need to invest in. So Nidoqueen, as of right now, if there's no other move updates, Nidoqueen, worth the investment-ish. It's not a must, but if you build it up, you can maneuver with it. Licky Licky, Politoed, don't waste your dust here. But as you're seeing this Pokemon right now, it just moved through Giratina, gets on the Cresselia, grabs a shield. Now I will Poison Fang and then Earth Power this out. I just gotta hope they don't have a Future Sight, and they do not because they're going straight Grass Knot. So it's a Grass Knot Moonblast combo. Someone asked me if you can use, do you need Grass Knot? I think Grass Knot is better overall because it's a faster move, plus like just being able to like one-shot Swamperts and all the waters and stuff. But running Future Sight is just as strong, I think. I think Future Sight Moonblast is a fine combo to run on Cresselia. So able to take that down. And you're going to see this was a 5-0. I did get a 5-0 with this team. Again, take it with a grain of salt because I was in the like 2400s at the time. So this is the investment of Pokemon that I've used, that I've invested in for Ultra League that just have gone by the side. That's the way it goes sometimes, right? It's an ever-evolving meta. There's some things, well, you never know. Like Trevenant is another one. I haven't used Trevenant yet this season. Trevenant is another one that I could have used on this team that I invested in and have a super high ranked Ultra League one and put the dust in, and then it just got nerfed into the ground. It happens. I don't think you should shy away from building Pokemon in the event that will happen. I think you just invest at the time. I think you invest at the time if it's the right play at the right moment. And if they get nerfed, they get nerfed. What can you do? Yeah, so for me, I'm fine just making that investment at the time. You'll notice that I am a little slower than most people to invest in some of these Pokemon. Because I sometimes I don't mind building Pokemon like mid-season. Sometimes like the obvious ones like Gligar and stuff like that, for Great League, I'll just build up immediately. Like it's just like, oh yeah, this should be very, very strong. Other ones that are like on the fence for Great League and Ultra League, I will take my time. I will kind of feel it out. I'll let the cycle run a couple times. Let Great League run a couple times. Let Ultra League run a couple times, just to get a feel of what the meta is, and then think about its place in the meta and if it's gone up or down in rankings and stuff like that. So that is this team. We'll do top teams for Catch Cup tomorrow. Again, I will build just based on looking what I have over the past 70 some odd days. And I'll build teams for that. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Maybe we'll do one more Ultra League team in the afternoon. I know it's league turnover, but we'll see. I'll see how I feel about it. We'll see. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.